Hey there, if you listened to the Atari 7800 Homebrew podcast, you heard in the most recent edition that I got myself one of these things. It's a Mateos 16 in 1 multi-cart on which you can actually add and remove whatever ROMs you want to put on there. And anyway, I'm going to show you how to do that with a Mac because I was having some problems with doing that with my Mac before, and I figured out how to do it without having to have all the hidden files exposed. Because I really hate doing that because when I do a directory display, when I have the hidden files exposed, it just clutters everything up. I'd rather just hide the hidden files. But anyway, first thing you got to do, of course, is attach this burner to the cart. I know it says Vectrex burner dumper, but the thing is, it works on Vectrex carts, Atari Lynx carts. This is a universal burner. So it's the same one for every multi-cart that Mateos makes. And you'll see that there are O's on the bottom, X's on the top. And just make sure that you plug it in on the back part of the Mateos cart, in which corresponds to the X's on the top and the O's on the bottom. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And there we go. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to plug in the USB cable into the USB port on the Mateos cart. Sorry about the bad camera work here, but I only have two hands right now. Let me see. Despite growing up not far from a couple of nuclear plants, I never mutated hands. And yeah, I know it is plugged into a USB hub, and Juan Mateos says do not use a USB hub, plug it directly into the computer. I think the reason for that request is that the assumption is that USB hubs are typically powered by the computer itself, which means there's less electrical power going into whatever devices you plug into here, meaning less chance of it working properly. Thing is, this is a powered USB hub. This is actually plugged directly into the electrical outlet, or as you say in Europe, those of you in Europe, the mains. Excuse me. So what happens is when you mount the Mateos cart, it shows up as drive name. It's showing me 0 bytes free, but I'm going to need more than that. So here's what I'm going to do. You're going to need to use the terminal. And if you've never used the terminal, here's the easiest, quickest way to do it. You go into that magnifying glass up at the right, click it, and you get the spotlight search. And all you got to do is type terminal and hit enter, of course. And there we go. There's the terminal window. So what I want to do is I want to see exactly what is on that cart. So ls for list source -a tells me show me all the files, including the ones that the system is supposed to hide. And then /volumes, meaning that I'm going to change into a different volume, / the name of the Mateos cart slot, which is drive_name. And I see that I have 3 directories that I don't want there. So I'm going, well, actually there are 2 directories I don't want. There's .trashes, and .fsevents_d. If I remove .trashes, that _.trashes should come with it. So let me see if I'm right about that. So let's see, I'm going to change that. I'm going to get rid of that -a and change ls to rm for remove directory. Or for remove, actually, sorry. Should be rmdir, remove directory. /volumes, /drive name, /.trashes. Okay, so, oops, that should be just, if I do a directory display on everything there, I still have that fsevents sd, so let me remove that. .fsevents d. Directory.empty, okay, well let me see if I can just clear it out then. I'm going to change rmdir to just rm, remove, which is what you use if you just want to remove a file that is not a directory. So, if I do asterisk, that should wipe away everything. Okay, cool, that worked, so I'm going to try to remove that directory, fsevents d. That worked, and let me make sure that the slot is now empty, and it is. Cool. I'm going to just clear the screen, clean it up a little bit. All right, now of course, when you use when you drag ROMs over to the Mateos cart, the ROMs have to be stripped of their headers. And thankfully, I have a friend emailed me a bunch of ROMs that have the headers already stripped off. And there's one that I really, really have been wanting to see. And I'll show you which one it is. This PAC 320 NTSC.32K. Wait till you see that thing. It's awesome. I ran it in an emulator once, and now I can't wait to run it on my actual 7800. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drag it over to drive name. And drag it over here. And think that should have done it. So if I do a list on the Mateos cart, there it is. Except I see two different files there. There's PAC 320, and then there's ._PAC 320. The problem with and the reason that people who use a Mac will have problems from time to time, and in fact people who use Windows, other versions of Windows than Windows 7, is that something will pad that file with other files. The thing is, that slot can only have the file that you want and nothing else. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to remove that stray file, that ._ file. And if I do a list source on that again, all right, I'm now going to see that PAC 320 NTSC is the only file in there. Those of you who don't know, the single dot and the double dots, those are not actual files. It's just a kind of a directory path structure there. I'm not going to get into that right now. But anyway, so the next thing I'm going to do is something kind of controversial. I'm going to unplug that, and my Mac is going to complain because I didn't properly eject it. And you know what? I really don't care. Well, I do care, but thing is, one of the tricks to getting certain circumstances of Mateos thing not working to work is actually just pull it directly without having to eject. Now, notice that I pulled off the burner. Yeah, you gotta pull the burner off of the cart before you try to use it in your 7800. If you leave the burner on the cart, then what happens is when you turn the power on, you'll get the red power thing, but you won't get a screen. You won't get what you're seeing here. All right, so there we go. Looks like my copy works. Now, watch this. Just watch this. This is what they could have done on the 7800. Look at that. Those are arcade graphics right there. Holy cow. Good night. Oh man, I hope Bob actually releases this on a cartridge. Look at that. Look at that. Pac-Man in 320 mode. And I see there needs to be some work on the sprites, but that's okay. Isn't that awesome? On a 7800. But anyway, that's how you get that thing to work on a Mac.